Okay, now in this video we are going to understand about the architecture of Selenium. Before we start understanding the APM, so we need to be very clear about the architecture of Selenium, and we are also going to discuss how Selenium is related to APM in terms of architecture and what capabilities APM brings in into the Selenium framework, right? So that is what in and around we are going to discuss in this. So let's start with the understanding of Selenium history first. So let me put the history in the notepad. So Selenium basically started with Selenium IDE. So what is Selenium IDE? It's integrate. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment here. So here we can record our UI test cases on applications UI using Selenium commands, right? So Selenium commands are like when we say record the script in Selenium IDE. So Selenium IDE provides us with the recording button, and that recording button we have to just on, and then we have to perform the different operations on our web application. So let's say this is my web application. I'll just see Orange HRM demo. This is an application. So let's see the example. So Orange HRM demo, this is an application. Now I have a test case where I'll be entering the invalid credentials here. Like you can see, the valid credentials are these: username, password, and if I enter anything else here, say if I enter this and login, right? So I'll click on login, and my test case says that password cannot be empty. So I'm just keeping the password field blank. I'm clicking on login button, and I should get the error saying password cannot be empty. So this is the test case. Now if in IDE we automate this test case, then what we can do is to automate. Selenium IDE has different commands given, like what kind of interaction as a part of your test case execution, what kind of interactions you are doing, and on which controls you are doing that interaction. Like as we had discussed in our previous videos, where UI automation tools, they interact with the UI controls of our application the way user interacts. So as a user or as a manual tester, say this test case, how I execute this test case on my application. So what I do is I park the cursor here, then I enter the value, and then I click the button. So here as a manual tester, I'm interacting with the UI of my application. So first what I'm doing is I'm just first understanding or locating which element I want to interact with, right? And then I am performing that interaction. So what is the interaction here? Typing inside this control, clicking on this login button. So these are the interactions, right? So for doing this interaction as a human being, what I am doing here is, before I do the interaction, I first understand which is out of these controls which I can see here on the page, which is the control which is username field, which is being referred to in my test case, and which is the login button. So here I am trying to identify the elements before I do the interactions, isn't it? The same way UI automation tool does it. So UI automation tool, if I want to instruct a UI automation tool to do these things on behalf of me, I need to first explain the tool few properties of the element by which it can identify it from the group of elements on the given page. So in the Selenium IDE also we have to tell Selenium IDE few attributes of a given control to make it identify the elements, and then we can instruct Selenium IDE to perform the interaction. So for performing the interactions as well as for performing the identification, Selenium IDE has given us the options of different Selenium commands. So those are called Selenium commands. Like for example, find element by ID. So what is this? If I want to make use of an ID attribute, now if I inspect this element, let's inspect this and understand what are the different attributes set to the element. So I can inspect the element like this, and here you can see this is what the element is made up of. This, I'll just copy this and I'll just put it here. Right, I'll just put it here above this Selenium IDE. Now here, this is a tag name. This input is called tag name. This name is attribute set to this value. ID is another attribute set with this value, and type is yet another attribute set with this value. Right, now these are the attributes which the designer of this UI has set. Now we have to figure out, as an automation UI automation tester, we have to figure out first which of these three attributes, now here in this case, which of these three is uniquely set to this element. Means there should not be any other element on the page which has got name set to this value, or ID set to this value, or type set to this value. So we have to first figure out how to choose the unique attribute. So once we choose it, so let's say ID is the attribute here which is set to this element uniquely. Now I want to tell my Selenium IDE that identify the element or go to such an element which has got ID set to this value, txt username. Or if I want to make use of this name attribute, so I can instruct my Selenium IDE to do that. Right? So for that, Selenium IDE has given us different Selenium commands which are dedicatedly for identifying the elements using different attributes set to the element. So ID is for asking Selenium IDE to identify the element based on value set to the ID attribute. So here we will just pass in the value. So this is the value, right? So we will just pass in here. Right, so what Selenium IDE, like what this is Selenium command. This is called Selenium command. So like the way we have different Selenium commands to identify the elements using different attributes, we have Selenium commands to instruct Selenium IDE to perform different UI interactions like typing. So Selenium command for that is send keys. This is the Selenium command, and whatever value I want to type in, I have to just send in as a value. So these are the Selenium command here. What I want to mention here is the Selenium commands are nothing but there are two major groups of Selenium commands available. One is the group which is for identifying the elements, and another group where there are the Selenium commands to mention the interactions on the elements. So this is what the IDE like Selenium started its journey. Now Selenium IDE gives us an option to record the scripts. Like they have their IDE which you can install in the browser, and you can record the scripts. So you get a record button. So once you start recording, you have to perform the test case manually by interacting with the elements of your application, and then Selenium IDE simultaneously records your interactions with the elements, and also it records the identifications, the unique attributes set to those elements which Selenium IDE is using to identify those elements. So the script gets recorded in case of Selenium IDE. Now let's understand the disadvantage of this. Like, no one uses Selenium IDE now because of some disadvantage. Now let's understand those. So here these are the simple commands. Like, you don't have any programming language, you get your script in. Basically, Selenium IDE, when you record the script, it gets recorded in the form of commands and not in the form of any coding script, right? So you cannot, you don't have basically any programming control here, like if, while and all such kind of programming capabilities you cannot have in the Selenium IDE script. That is the very important disadvantage of this. Another disadvantage, like when Selenium IDE started, it started with, like, the Selenium IDE support was only for Firefox browser. There was no other browser you could use Selenium IDE for, right? So that was one of the important disadvantage. Now Selenium IDE supports other browsers as well, like Chrome and Edge and all, but when it started it was only for Firefox, right? Now these two disadvantages were major at that time. Like, basically Selenium is a tool which was invented by the people working in the ThoughtWorks organization. So they were they were testing one web application and they wanted some automation assistance while testing that, for test execution purpose, for executing their test cases. But the tools which were available at that time in the market were all licensed tools like UFT, WinRunner. So they used to be very expensive. So they wanted some solution using which they can automate their UI automation test cases, and they came up with this idea of Selenium IDE, right? So which was for Firefox first. Now as the Selenium IDE, the use of the Selenium they wanted to extend to other browsers, right? So that was the first motivation behind introducing Selenium RC, which is the next thing which we are going to talk about now, Selenium RC. So the motivation behind the Selenium RC was support for multiple browsers and support for multiple languages. I'll say multiple scripting languages. As in IDE there was only Selenium commands involved in the script, but now they wanted to give us a language, like they wanted to give us support to write Selenium scripts in using different languages like Java, C# and JavaScript, Python and all, right? So these two were the main motivations behind introducing RC. Now let's understand how the RC works. So I am showing you the image here of Selenium remote control. Selenium RC stands for Selenium remote control. So the first thing, a script, the first component. So here is your script which you can write in any of the languages like Perl, Ruby, Python, Java or C#, right? Now when you write your Selenium tests or any UI automation tests, what primarily get involved into a Selenium any UI automation script? As I said, two things. First is ask the automation tool to identify the elements, and second is do the or perform the required UI interaction with the UI control, right? Now those instructions you can give in any of the languages of your choice, but the point is the web application runs inside the browser. Now let's take an example here again. So our web application is running inside this browser, and the representation like the HTML or any web technology like HTML, Angular and all, they are used to write or design your web pages. Now once you open the URL of a website, a web page loads and the browser runs the HTML code and it produces the interface in front of you, right? So this is where the browser produces your UI, and it is called DOM, document object model. So document object model is nothing but the representation of your HTML code inside the browser, and this is the DOM of your page. This is what the architecture of your page or structure of your page, right? Now these controls resides inside the browser and our script resides outside of the browser. Obviously in let's say if you are using Java for writing your Selenium RC test, so you would be writing your tests in IDEs like Eclipse or IntelliJ, right? So your test resides, or the commands or instructions what to do resides outside the browser, but they are required to be performed on the controls or on the controls of an application running inside the browser. So browser is going to perform the operations, right? So our Selenium RC script will look something like this. I'll just create a template. It's not the entirely the correct syntax I'm going to follow. I'm just going to put the template of it just for the understanding. So our Selenium script would be something like this. So find element by ID and this txt username dot send keys. Here it would be not like dot send keys in the Selenium command. The send keys would be a separate Selenium command. Here it would be something like this. Now let's understand what this is. So I'll just put a value here. Okay. Now here what we are doing is we are writing our script, let's say in Java. So Java code. This is all Java code. And what they have done is, in order to start supporting the multiple scripting languages, all these Selenium commands, okay, like whatever they used to perform, send keys, typing, clicking, click. So all those commands, they translated or they implemented them in multiple programming languages they wanted to give support for as a scripting language, right? So they kept the names of those functions the same, like the terminologies like send keys, find element by ID. So these are the terminologies which are since the IDE. Okay, so they didn't change these terminologies while coming to the RC, because the people who are from the IDE background, they should not feel like while using RC, they should not feel like they are using something else, right? So the people using IDE, they are already familiar with these terminologies. Okay, if I want to find an element with the ID attribute, I should be using find element by ID. If I want to type, I should be using send keys. If I want to identify the element with the help of XPath, find element by XPath. So these terminologies, they are quite familiar with, right? Now Selenium people, they didn't want to change these terminologies while going to RC. So what they did is they kept the name same, just that these Selenium commands or their operations, they implemented in the form of functions or methods in different languages, and they compiled those code and they created the libraries on different platforms. Like for C#, like send keys, click and all, they implemented in C# and they built that C# implementation in one NuGet package. For Java, they implemented all these things in Java and they created the bunch of jar files, the libraries which can be given to the people so that they can use these things while writing their ultimate scripts. So all these things like find element by id, send keys, they are implemented in multiple languages like Java, C Sharp, and whatever language you would like to now write your scripts in, you have to get those libraries, and then you have to call these functions which are written in their libraries. Find element by id, they have written it in the library. You have to just call it in as a part of your code, script code. You have to just send in the required arguments, that's it. So your script code will nothing but the calls to the library functions which are already written and made available to us. Now these things like find element by id, send keys, they are written in multiple languages. So let's say if I'm using Java now for writing my scripts, so this is my Java code. As I said, this code is nothing but a instruction to the browser what to do. So first identify the element and then type it, type some value in it, right? So this is what the instruction is. Now this has to be performed inside the browser because our control resides in the browser here. But the browser cannot run the, like if I inject this code inside the browser, but my browser won't be able to run it because for running the Java programs, we need a JRE, Java runtime environment. For running any code, we need a runtime environment, right? So let's say this is written in C Sharp and I want to get it executed inside the browser, but I cannot because I don't have a .NET framework there, a runtime environment there, right? So this is the main thing, that our scripts are required to be executed inside the browser. But the browser can only execute as a programming language. If you want to execute anything in the browser, then you can execute JavaScripts because browsers come along with the JavaScript runtime environment engine. Okay, JavaScript engine which executes the JavaScripts. So if I want to instruct my browser to find the element and perform typing there, so this instruction should be in the form of JavaScript, because that instruction then only my browser would be able to execute and we can get it done, right? So that's the main point here, that find element by id dot send keys, this particular instruction is in Java, C Sharp, Python. It will not serve the purpose unless it is translated into the JavaScript, because this ultimate instruction is required to be executed inside the browser, because this instruction is meant to do something on the application's UI control, and application is running inside the browser, right? And now if I want to execute this command inside the browser, it has to be in the language which browser can run inside its environment, and browser can run only JavaScripts as I mentioned. So if this code is in Python, it has to be first translated into JavaScript and then only it can be injected here in the browser to get it executed, and then we can have our elements worked on. Now in RC, who will do this translation? So that is what this is. You can see Selenium server. So they implemented one translator. So what is the job of this translator? Its simple job is get the code commands written in the language like this code, get it and translate it into the JavaScript, right? So you can see here how the script will send these commands to be translated through HTTP requests. So our script will establish a HTTP communication session with the Selenium server, and each statement of our Selenium library function call would be sent as an HTTP request to the server for the translation. Okay, so the translation would be done here in this Selenium server, and that translation would be in JavaScript. So whether you are this particular test, the original uh, the source, actually the source of instruction, whether it is Perl, Ruby, Python, Java or C Sharp, its translated language is always going to be JavaScript. Okay, so this server is capable of translating Selenium commands coming from different languages into the JavaScript. Okay, that is the main job of this server. Now this server so there is one more component of this server, that is called Selenium core. Now let's understand what this Selenium core is. So a script, a translator, it translates the Selenium, Python, say Selenium statements into the JavaScript, and now those JavaScripts are to be sent inside the browser for the sake of execution. Now browser needs someone inside it which will receive those sent statements and will run here, right? Basically your script is a different component, right? I'll just put it here. So your script is one component, your server or a translator is another component, right? So this script has sent the statements to be translated to the server, so that server has translated them. Now it need to be sent to the browser for the execution, isn't it? Here inside this browser for the execution. But the browser needs someone, some program running there which will receive those commands sent by the server and execute them. So once it will execute those translated JavaScript inside the browser, we will get our application controls worked on, right? So we need here one program running inside the browser along with our web application. We need some program running here inside the browser environment. The job of that program would be just receive the translated scripts. So the job would be simple. So whatever the commands this server will translate into the JavaScript, so it will receive those commands and will run inside the browser, and then we will see our this control is getting the value type 10, right? So this program is nothing but Selenium core. Now in this diagram it is shown as the part of the Selenium server itself. Yeah, it is the part, but it resides in the browser. This Selenium core resides inside the browser, whereas the server is nothing but a jar file which runs outside of the browser in the command prompt. So you will have your Eclipse having the script, a command prompt running the server, and the browser running your application as well as the Selenium core program inside it, right? So our script will establish a communication session with that command prompt running the Selenium server, right? Then Selenium server will translate our script commands into the JavaScript and will establish a communication session with the program running inside the browser, which is nothing but Selenium core, and will send it the translated JavaScripts, and that Selenium core program will run those translated JavaScripts inside the browser, and we will have our controls worked on. This is the concept. Now let's understand the problem with this approach. Okay, now as we discussed, there are three main components here: a separate component script, a translator, browser running application, and Selenium core program. Now this Selenium core program is to be written in such a language which can be executed inside the browser. As I said, if you want to execute anything inside the program, any program inside the browser environment, then the browser environment should have the runtime engine for that, right? And browsers come with the JavaScript engines. So you can run JavaScript programs inside the browsers. You cannot run Python programs inside the browsers because browsers don't have the Python runtime environment. Okay, or any other, but for running any program, you need the runtime environment which will run the instructions, right? So browsers have JavaScript runtime engine. So this program would always obviously be written in this Selenium core program, which is required to be sit here running inside, which will accept the translated scripts from the server and will execute those inside the browser. So this is required to be written in obviously in a language which the browser would be able to execute, and that is JavaScript. So this program is written in JavaScript and it stays inside the browser along with our web application. It runs here and listens for the incoming requests from this server, and what this server sends, this Selenium core program, it sends the translated JavaScripts to the Selenium core, and Selenium core program runs those translated scripts, which are nothing but about identifying the elements and performing the interactions. So when those translated JavaScripts, this Selenium core program runs inside the browser, we get our applications UI controls worked on. Now the fact is, like, when the browser runs any program inside, so browser, if you have written any program, okay, and you want to inject that program inside the browser for the sake of execution, then browser allows the program to be executed in its environment, but with restrictions. Now what kind of restrictions? Let's understand. Now if I write a program to delete the file, say on C:, I have some file a.txt or something. So let's say I want to write a program to delete this file, which is on my D:, which is an Excel file. I want to delete this. Now if I write this program in JavaScript and if I inject it inside the browser, so browser won't allow me to do this, because what browser says, okay, you can run inside me as long as you can access or as long as you are accessing the DOM only. You are only allowed to access as a part of your logic. If at all you want to access anything, you can only access my DOM. You cannot access the file system of this or any of the browser's settings. You are not allowed to do anything like that. You are only allowed to interact with the DOM of your browser, right? So now this Selenium core, whatever these commands, if these commands of your test case, if the interaction you have mentioned there, if it is only on the elements of your page, then that's fine. But let's say I have a test case where I want to change the proxy setting of this browser. I want to change the proxy, okay, or let's say I want to do some setting here, and then I want to run the test case. Again I want to load this page, and again I want to check whether this error comes or not, right? So here my test case steps are not only limited to interacting with the web page, but it also requires to do something on the browser. Like it need to set some settings here on the browser. So browsers give you the APIs, application programming interfaces, like functions, methods to do this. So let's say I want to set a proxy, and browser has a they have given me an API called set proxy. Okay, set proxy, and I'll send in the address which I want to get set as a proxy here. But this I cannot include in my Selenium test. Why? Let's understand why. Because every Selenium, like whatever you want to get executed against the application, it requires to be translated into the JavaScript, as we have been saying, right? Now, if there is a command, okay, if the Selenium has given you a library call which will set the proxy, but when it will be translated, say Selenium has given you a set proxy, and I want to say 10, 9, 3, 16 as my proxy. I want to set it. So this is the call in my Selenium test. Now when this will go to the Selenium server, Selenium server for the translation. Say it has translated into the JavaScript. Okay, and now that Selenium core, the server sent this translated script to my Selenium core running inside the browser, and my Selenium core will try to run this, but my browser will stop it. It will say, no, you are not supposed to access anything apart from my DOM. You are trying to access some API of the browser as your instructions, which you are not supposed to do. So in Selenium RC, we cannot take the control over the browser in our test scripts. We can only interact with our web page, but if your test case wants you to interact over and above your application's DOM, you cannot do that. Let's say the browser, because see, the browser is something which is running your web application, right? So your test case may include some settings to be done in the browser and check how it works now, some profile to be loaded in the browser and see how it works now. So these kinds of test cases need the full control of the application, in the sense the DOM as well as the browser running that application. So this kind of a full control we cannot take using the RC because of the limitation. This is the architectural limitation, because in the Selenium RC architecture we have got one Selenium core program running inside the browser, which is responsible for running our translated Selenium scripts. But as it runs inside the browser, it has to run with some limitations. It cannot access anything over and above browser's DOM. So test cases requiring the control over the browser along with the web application cannot be automated using Selenium RC. This is one of the limitation of the RC, and there is one more, that is same origin policy, but let's keep it very simple here. Let's not go to that for now. We will talk about it later, but this is what the RC, the disadvantage the RC was suffering from. And then Selenium came up with the next version of Selenium is WebDriver. Now let's understand the Selenium WebDriver. Now there are advantages of Selenium RC, like the support for multiple browsers started, support for multiple languages started. So whatever Selenium IDE was suffering from, so all those things they covered up here in the RC. But now Selenium RC is now suffering from few disadvantages, which was the motivation behind introducing WebDriver. Now let's understand how WebDriver handled these things. Now I'll go to the WebDriver image I have. So this is the Selenium WebDriver architecture. Now let's understand. So again, the support for multiple languages which Selenium RC started, they kept that advantage. So you can write your Selenium scripts in any of the languages of your choice, that's fine. The thing which got changed is here. I'll show you where the thing actually changed in the WebDriver. So here, in case of RC, our scripts used to get translated into the JavaScript, because any browser is capable of running the JavaScript, and all the Selenium commands or find element by ID, send keys, click and all will get translated into the JavaScript and will get sent to the Selenium core program for getting them executed. Now here in the WebDriver, the change is here in this layer. So what is the change? Let's understand. So you can still write, while using WebDriver, you can still write your scripts in any of the languages. Your scripts are to be executed on the application running inside the browser, but Now, in order to allow them to be executed on the browser, instead of translating those Selenium script statements, instead of translating them into the JavaScript, because if we translate them into the JavaScript and send it inside the program for the execution, then we have got that limitation of secure sandbox. Like you have to run in the limit. You cannot access over and above anything of matter or DOM. So that limitation was there, right? Now they decided to translate the Selenium send keys, click and find element by ID not in the JavaScript but in the browser's own native UI automation API. So every browser comes with the automation APIs, so using which you can control the browser, you can programmatically control the browser, as well as you can automate the you can interact with the application running inside it as well. So Chrome has got its own set of native UI automation API. Firefox has got own set of native UI automation API, having all the methods made available to control the browser programmatically as well as the application. So here in this Selenium WebDriver, the main point is your Selenium script written in Java, it would be translated into the browser's native UI automation API. Okay, so let's say I have written send keys, which is required to type. Now for that, Chrome's UI automation API has got method in its API set type text. So type text is the Chrome's native automation API call for typing the text. So this is the Chrome's. Firefox has got different. Let's say Firefox browser, for typing it has got API called setText, for example, right? So our test, in our test we will say send keys only. We are not changing the terminology since IDE. We are still saying typing a send keys only. Now what will happen is, this send keys would be sent when you will write it in the WebDriver test. It requires to be translated, but now they are required to be translated into the Chrome's native automation API. For Firefox, they are required to be translated into Firefox native automation API. So every browser has got their own set of APIs, right? Now who will do the translation of this translation where the command is to be translated into the respective browser's UI automation API. So the decision of translating now commands in the browser's native UI automation API actually opened the door for interacting with the browser's JavaScript, which was not available here. You could only interact with the help of RC. You could only interact with the application and not a browser, right, programmatically. But now the decision of translating these Selenium APIs into browser's native automation APIs instead of JavaScript opened the doors for getting the full control on our application. Not only the application's controls, but browser as whole, right? So these are the drivers, so they wrote the drivers. The Firefox driver was written first. So what is the job of this driver? Taking the Selenium command, so which would be sent to it with the help of this JSON wire protocol. Firefox driver will translate. So if it has got send keys, okay, then in the Firefox browser's UI automation API set, the API is setText, so it will translate it into setText and then it will ask the browser to run it. So it's in its own UI automation API call now, the translation, and the browser would be able to do it. Now if I want to run the same test on Chrome, So what I need to do is I just need to take out this Firefox driver and I just need to bring in this Chrome driver now. So which will now translate our Selenium APIs into the Chrome's native automation API. So send key is when it will get. Now the Chrome, say Chrome has the type text for typing, so it will take care of translating the send keys into the required Chrome browser's required native automation API call, right? So our test is it is remaining same, like you are not changing the test commands, or you are not changing the commands in your test according to the browser. Your test remains constant. You are just changing the translators. So these are merely translators which are responsible for translating Selenium API commands, okay, resulting into different kinds of interactions, right? So translating them into the respective browsers UI automation API call. So now because of this change, now we can control not only our application but the whole browser, and now we can automate the scripts, like where I want to set the proxy or where I want to load the profile and check my test case. So it has opened me the gates where I can now take the full control over my application, which was not possible with the help of RC, right? So these are the translators. So these are the translators written. So Firefox driver initially was written by Selenium people, right? So the job is simple here, taking the command from the Selenium script, which is written in the form of calling the different APIs from the Selenium libraries, right? Send keys, click, find element by ID and all, and translating them into the browser's native automation API calls, right? So initially Firefox driver was written by Selenium. Then while writing this Firefox driver, they created a specification what the other drivers, like the drivers for other browsers, should be capable of doing. That is what the specification they created, and they handed over it to the people who are interested in writing the drivers compatible for other browsers. So Google wrote based on the same specification. Google wrote the Chrome driver, then the Apple wrote Safari driver with the help of the specification which the Selenium people created while implementing this Firefox driver. Now Opera, Edge, so Microsoft wrote a driver for using the same specification, based on same specification created, they wrote Edge driver. So these drivers now, they have been written by the respective browser vendors now, right? They are no longer be implemented or maintained by Selenium people. They wrote it first, but after that Mozilla, they wrote the Gecko driver. Now the Gecko driver is in use, right? So which is written by the Mozilla, which is the vendor of Firefox browser, right? So in order to run here your test on the multiple browsers, you don't have to change the test, you have to simply change the translators. So if I'm talking to some person, let's say I can talk in Marathi, the other person can talk in, let's say, in any language like Hindi, which I don't understand, let's say, for example. So in order to communicate, we need a translator in between who would be who would be translating my whatever I would like to say. So I will say in my own language, so that translator will translate that into the language which the other person understands, and he will facilitate the communication between us, right? Now if I want to talk to now some other person, right, so who understands English language, say, which let's say I don't understand English language, so I'll still give the same commands in my native language. I have just changed the translator. So I have said the person A to go now, and I have brought in the person B who is now facilitating the communication between me and the other person, understanding the English, right? So this is what happens in Selenium WebDriver.